Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today I am jumping back into the world of Marvel Legends as we take a look at Thor, Love and Thunder Star-Lord. So probably for the last, I want to say maybe 5 months, I haven't really been devoting too much time to Marvel Legends. I've kind of bowed out of the last few action figure assortments. From the best of my memory, I think the last few figures I bought was maybe 1 or 2 figures from the Age of Apocalypse line and maybe 1 or 2 figures from the Eternals. But for the most part, I've just been kind of burned out on Marvel Legends. But I'm really excited about the upcoming Thor movie, and I'm a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I had to jump on and get this figure, Star-Lord, and it looks pretty neat. I have some reservations about it though, but man, I'm really excited about that upcoming Thor movie. And the assortment of figures here looks pretty cool too, I might be enticed to do the Build-A-Figure just so I could get this version of Korg, but we'll see. For now, let's take a look at Star-Lord. So we have Star-Lord for the new Thor movie. It looks fantastic. As you can see here, it's Chris Pratt reprising his role. I love the art on the spine right here. This is such a beautiful illustration. I'm very fond of the Ravager gear. I think like all the the red coats and whatnot. It just looks really cool. Yeah, really great illustration. On the back, more of the same. So we have Star-Lord. Peter Quill and the Guardians of the Galaxy return, teaming up with friends new and old to defend the galaxy from a dangerous new enemy. And here are the other figures in the assortment. We have Thor, who does not include a Build-A-Figure piece. We have Mighty Thor, Gore, King Valkyrie, Ravager Thor, Star-Lord, and Groot. For me, the figure that's on my most wanted list is probably Ravager Thor, and I'm assuming that's going to be the hot figure. I'm guessing him and Mighty Thor. So, I mean, from what I've seen, all these figures look great. And, yeah, I'm really excited to check out that new movie. So, let's unbox Star-Lord himself and get this review started. I kind of wish they would update the package design for the Marvel Legends. I know Hasbro, they've been a little bit more environmentally conscious with some of their package designs for some of their other brands. Like, for example, Transformers, they've kind of removed the plastic windows from their packaging. And likewise with Fortnite, those action figures, it's like very minimal plastic in the packaging as well. They've gotten rid of the plastic baggies and opted for, I think, like tissue paper to wrap the accessories, and the boxes have really small windows. So part of me is thinking that at some point in the near future, it's very possible that they'll reconsider how they do the packaging for the Marvel Legends, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of go more so the same route as like Fortnite, and you might just get a very bare window, and they'll probably do away with a lot of this excess plastic. Alright, so first off, figure's looking nice. I do love the cardboard insert. If you're kind of, I don't know, want like an affordable option for like this, shelf options, like if you want to establish like a small diorama or have a backdrop, this insert might do it. It's pretty cool, very colorful. And man, this figure looks so nice in the tray. So one of the things I'm kind of iffy about is the likeness of the actor. Like when I look at this, it doesn't look like Chris Pratt to me. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. So as you can see here, he comes with the Build-A-Figure piece. I believe this is Korg's, which arm is this? This is Korg's right arm. And then we also get Star-Lord's Trademark Blasters over here. All right, let's take a look at the figure. All right, so we have Star-Lord. Right off the bat, I'm very impressed with the sculpting and the detail. You know, as usual, especially with the MCU stuff, it doesn't fail to impress. I mean, the sculpting is so well done. All the lines and edges are pretty crisp. You get a nice texture, for example, on his wrist guard right there. You know, it transitions from like smooth to like almost like a rough leather appearance. I'm not sure how screen accurate this is in terms of like all the buckles and whatnot, but you know, the details, you know, it's all there. All the straps, the harnesses. I love the kind of variation in the colors for the armor versus against the contrast of the coat. Like up here is kind of almost like a burnt orange, a dark burnt orange, kind of like with a glossy finish. And the coat's kind of like more of this matte finish. It looks really well done. The sculpting on the hair looks fantastic. It's nice and crisp, as you can see there. But his likeness, I don't know, it's kind of throwing me off. For one, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know what kind of physical shape Chris Pratt's in. You know, initially, when I was first introduced to Chris Pratt in Parks and Rec, he was a much beefier guy, and then when he did Guardians, you know, he kind of like slimmed down, and then they kind of joke around, and I think might be Infinity War about how maybe he put on some weight. The one thing I immediately noticed is that he has a very thin neck, but his likeness, for me anyways, from certain angles, he kind of reminds me of actor Dax Shepard. From other angles, he kind of looks like Neil Patrick Harris. I don't know, there's just something off about his face. That's not to say it's not a good sculpt, but I think some of the previous versions of Star-Lord do a better job at like capturing the appearance of actor Chris Pratt. But for all I know, you know, maybe this is what he looks like now, and especially in the new film. But the sculpting's well done. The paint application's nice. The hair looks wonderful. Yeah, everything looks nice about this figure. The detailing on the coat, the straps, the harnesses, the forearm bracers. It all looks really well done. And as you can see here, it looks like he has holsters for his blasters. So let's take a look at his blasters real quick. So you got the pair of Star-Lord's Trademark Blasters right here. I don't have any of the previous ones on hand, so I can't really compare them. As you can see, they're not identical. They have different numbers, so these are actually different molds, I believe. One's Mark II and one's Mark III. And with his holsters, you kind of have these pegs on his upper thigh, and I'm guessing you probably just plug these in. Let's see how that works. Alright, so I'm unsure of how this is supposed to go in. I might have to follow up on someone else's review on this figure, but unless it... Alright, so I could be wrong, but I'm guessing this might be a case of where it just loosely hangs on his thigh, and then when you have the jacket over, the jacket just holds it in place, I think. Maybe I'm missing something, and I'll probably feel really stupid about it later, but I think that's what I'm guessing. So I think that completes the look. Like I said, you know, there are pegs here, but I can't figure out how to properly plug these in, because you have the trigger up there, and then underneath you have the finger guard but there's no socket on either side that looks like it'll accept the peg here. And the trigger, the orientation of the space here is, it runs parallel to the peg, so not really sure about this. But either way, it's a nice looking figure. The fingers are really, really soft, so it's very easy to get the weapon in his hand. As you can see there. Let's get the other one on. So for me, I actually prefer Star-Lord more so in the shorter coat as opposed to the trench coat. The long jacket look looks nice, but I really dig it more when he has the shorter jacket. One thing I've noticed also is that his jacket seems to be missing the Ravager logo. I'm not sure if they did away with that in like the previous films. But yeah, it's a great figure. In terms of articulation, Star-Lord's head rotates. Wow, he could look pretty far down. Wow, that's crazy. Wow, he could really like tuck his chin into his neck. I'm very impressed with that. To look pretty, wow, he can even look pretty high up. That's pretty impressive. Arms rotate. Do they go out? They go out. This one's kind of tight on mine. I don't want to force it. So I believe this shoulder guard up here is a separate piece, I think. Yeah, kind of, as you can see here, it floats around, which allows for the bicep swivel right there. Pinless elbows, which is a really, really nice feature. So you don't see the pins in his arms. Can articulate like that. He has wrist articulation. So you could get some really cool poses with this guy. Waist swivel. He has, I think he has a ab crunch, I believe. And this is a softer, rubbery material. It's almost like a sleeve. Legs kick up. Thigh cut, double pinned knees. It's unfortunate that, you know, his elbows here are pinless, but then his knees aren't. But, you know, it's not that much of an eyesore, especially since he has his coat. Boot cut, so you have a boot swivel and the standard ankle articulation. Overall, very solid figure, very impressed. If I had to rate this guy numerically on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd easily give him, I'm feeling a little bit generous. I'd probably give him a solid 9. I'm not sure what would necessarily entail a perfect figure, but this is, for me, a pretty solid go at Star-Lord. Like I said, the likeness, for some reason, from some angles, it doesn't look right, but, you know, that just, it's probably just me, you know. But yeah, just look at that. That's a great looking figure. Really well done. Let's get this in focus. Alright, so since we're on the subject of Star-Lord, let's take out some other Star-Lord figures for comparison. You know, if you're kind of curious on whether or not you need this, because maybe you have already 4 other Star-Lord figures, maybe I can give you some insight on that. Alright, so we have the new Thor, Star-Lord right here. I believe this was the first Marvel Legends Star-Lord, I think. As you can see, a lot glossier finish on the coat. I think scale-wise, they're about the same. No, I take it back. The new one's, wow, it's considerably taller than the first version. there's a part of me for some reason I kind of do like the glossier finish on here, but it in some ways it also kind of dates the figure. I kind of feel like, you know, nowadays in terms of action figure aesthetics, I think we're trying to go for more of a matte finish. So this glossier finish kind of dates the figure a little. The details are just as nice, I think, but I think the sculpting's kind of improved a little over time. Different color schemes. Yeah, overall, this is a nice figure. Then we have these two versions. I believe these were from the second Guardians film, I think. I like the likeness on this one a lot. I think this one has a... I'm not sure if they share the same head sculpt. No, they don't. This one has a different expression. But I do like the color choices better for this one. For me, I think this does a better job of looking like Chris Pratt. And this has the shorter coat, which I'm more fond of. And like the newer figure, this one also has the pegs on the thighs to like store the weapons. And wow, I'm kind of surprised. So I want to say these might be identical legs. So yeah, I think the newer figure does reuse these legs. At least that's what I'm seeing right now. It looks like the folds are the same. The buckle sculpting, I think, is identical. Yeah, I want to say, so I think this has some reuse. I believe these are the older legs from this figure right here. I kind of prefer this look a lot because it's a little bit more casual, you know. It doesn't have the gloves. I like the shorter coat. It looks cooler. Here he's back with the longer coat. It's different design. Yeah, it's a different mold, different design. I do like the smirk on this one. I think it captures the character's kind of like playful nature. But yeah, there's something off about this one's... I don't know. It's like I said, every now and then when I look at him, it doesn't look like Chris Pratt to me. I got some more figures. This comes from probably my favorite of all of the Hasbro Marvel superhero lines. I loved the budget Avengers Infinity War line. For me, I know these are inferior figures. You know, they have less points of articulation and whatnot, but for me, this hit the sweet spot. You know, they had such a large roster of characters. The package design was fantastic. It was much more affordable. You know, at the time, I believe Marvel Legends, these might have been priced at $19.99 versus these, which I think these were sub $10. So I love this line of toys. I talk about that all the time. Anytime I get a chance to talk about the Avengers Infinity War budget line, you know, I'm all over it. I believe I have every figure from this line, I think. They look fantastic. You know, I have them all mint on card hanging on a wall together. And it's just so cool. It's very cool because, I mean, you have all the different characters from all the different movies. You know, you have the Guardians, you have the Avengers, you have Spider-Man. And it's like I said, I know these are inferior to, like, the Marvel Legends figures, but there's something about this. It's, I don't know. You know, I think this kind of, like, tugs at my, like, nostalgic strings just a little bit more than, you know, these. These feel more like toys, and I can appreciate that. And then we have this guy here. This is... We already looked at this figure. This is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 Star-Lord, which is this guy. And this one's still mint in box. I don't know why I have this one. Chances are I might have bought this without realizing I already had it. I don't know. My brain gets kind of weird sometimes. But this is a great figure. It comes with the alternate head, which is surprising because, I mean, from the trailers, from what I've gathered, I don't think, I could be wrong, but maybe Star-Lord doesn't wear the mask in the new film, or maybe he does. I don't know. But this kind of boggles my mind that, you know, you get a Star-Lord figure and he doesn't have the actual helmet. You know, he just comes with the blasters. But yeah, I love this figure a lot. It's awesome. And lastly, we come to this guy right here. This is a much harder to find figure. This is from the animated Guardians of the Galaxy TV show. If for those of you that remember it was years ago. And prior to me jumping into Marvel Legends, at the time Marvel Legends was already around for, I mean, just including the Hasbro years, you know, it was already around for a couple of years already. And I didn't jump into like Marvel Legends until much later. At the time, I was collecting some of the Hasbro Marvel product, but for me, I was more focused on the smaller, like 3 3/4 to 4-inch scale action figures. I believe those were called Marvel Infinite, and I think at one time they were even called Marvel Legends, and I can't remember the other name. But for me, you know, I was more about collecting the smaller figures. And when the Guardians Marvel Legend figures first came out, it was something I was eyeballed because I wasn't into the Marvel Legends figures yet. But I was a big fan of the movie and I wanted to complete the team, but I just never got around to it. But I remember at the time at Toys R Us, they had the entire team but in this budget line of toys. And then for me, I just opted to get the budget figures versus the much more premium ones. And I haven't regretted it ever since. I love this line a lot. It's one of my fonder toy lines in my collection just because I was, you know, for me to complete the Guardians team on the budget line before the Marvel Legends one, I don't know. For me, it was just a little bit more special. And like a few weeks ago, I had Rocket Raccoon hang on a wall and he got accidentally knocked off. And the bubble, I'm not sure what happened. The glue just kind of like either this wore out over time and the bubble just completely just cleanly fell off. And I was so heartbroken because I pride myself on having this entire, you know, line mint on card. And then I had to hunt down these figures, or like, I had to hunt down the Rocket mint on card. And man, that ran me like maybe like $30. And from what I saw, you know, these figures are just hard to come by, the budget line. So I think it's just either one of those things where, you know, it didn't have a lot of collector focus and maybe it's aimed more at kids. But if you want to complete the entire set of the budget lines, you know, good luck. You know, some of these figures are kind of hard to come by. All right, so we've had our fill of Star-Lord for today. So let's kind of wrap this up. This is a great action figure. You know, regardless of what I think about the head sculpt, I think, you know, this is a winner. It's a very solid take on Star-Lord. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming Thor movie, and I'm sure it will not disappoint. All right, so let's wrap this up. Once again, my name is Lou. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your support. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.